Hello, we're back to lesson 2, and we're going to move on to 16th Notes in this whole music theory counting episode or series. But before we jump into it and back into it, if you have not yet subscribed, I'd love for you to be a part of the subscription family here on my YouTube channel. Hit a like, give me some feedback, let me know if this idea, this concept, this teaching series is helpful. Or if I missed something. I already know that I've missed quite a few things, and so there's a couple things I want to cover in this lesson. So yeah, anyways, let's jump right into it. In the last lesson, I talked about quarter notes and eighth notes, what it means to play on the and of one or the and of whatever number, time signatures, what the measure is, the staff. We didn't get into that a whole lot. We're mainly talking about counting and rhythm. So one of the things that I did not mention, and let me go ahead and draw this measure and staff. One of the things that I did not just lost my words here, that I did not say or mention was the whole notion of one and starting on the one. Now, in the concept we're talking about, the category, the genre of rock music or pop music, CCM, think worship style music, okay? It's not always, man, my markers are all dried out here. How dare I start a lesson with dried out, dry erase markers? Yeah, so now we see the flaws of this old school method that I'm going through. Hopefully you can see this. It's kind of faint here. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Man, Will, you're about to be fired. All right, so anyways, I did not really strongly go over the whole notion of starting on one and what that means. Now, in this style or genre of music, CCM, rock, pop, what have you, we often mark heavily, or at least imply heavily, the one with the bass drum or the kick drum or the bass. And so the rhythmic pattern is really starting on the one. Now, in every genre, that's not always the case. Sometimes one is implied, but it's not necessarily played. All right, that's the same way with this genre, but it's quite prevalent to market that one. And it's often done with the bass drum or a low note. Sometimes a ride cymbal, sometimes a hi-hat or a shaker. Okay, but either way, the whole idea is that we're starting the rhythm on one, okay? And that's a whole nother concept of understanding where the one is and learning to feel and sense, to have a strong intuition or a strong sense, rather, of where the one is. But anyways, we spoke about quarter notes, eighth notes, and now we're going to talk about 16th notes, okay? So in the last lesson, I started off with quarter notes, but in this lesson, I'm going to start the lesson, enter in with eighth notes, okay? All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, horrible drawing of these notes. I got 8 individual eighth notes. So I have the flags on there, okay? Probably be better for me to join them, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way, all right, for the sake of this explanation. Now, 16th notes are going to be there's going to be twice as many notes as these, but we don't count them as 1 and 2 and like we do with the eighth note. So the eighth notes here, I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So altogether, the numbers and the ands make up, at least in the English language anyway, make up all of the notes. Well, with 16th notes, we count those as 1 E and okay? So now we have a total of 4 notes in the time that it takes for us to count 1 quarter note or 2 eighth notes, all right? So if I say 1 and, then the time it took me to go these 2 notes, pizza or 1 and, I would count those 4 16th notes. Or the time it takes me to count 8 eighth notes, I can count 16 16th notes. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. The time that it takes me to count 8 eighth notes, I can count 16th notes, right? 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right? So the time it takes for one, the same amount of time, or the same amount of time it takes to count twice as many notes with these others. So if I say play 2 16th notes on the end of 2, remember before we had 4 notes, quarter notes. We had 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, those are going to be our quarter notes. All right, we use the numbers. So if I play 2 16th notes on the end of 2, and I count it out, 1, 2, it would sound like 1, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So that or 1 E and that's what it would sound like, but it's basically faster than 2 eighth notes and 2 and, right? Or 2 and 3. Instead, now it's going to be 1, 2. It's faster. Eighth notes, 16th note. Okay? Dot, dot. Or pepperoni. Pepper, 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 pepperoni. So pizza, pepperoni. Right? So I could say pepperoni pizza, and I just counted 4 16th notes, 1 E and a, and 2 eighth notes. Pizza. All right? So now the benefit of doing this when we're talking about congas, getting all of this that I'm saying, this is where it also starts helping. When you listen to iconic songs like Africa by Toto, there's a lot of good information playing on the congas, which I said that because I'm actually going to do a video lesson on what Lenny Castro was doing on the congas there and explain that. But you'll hear some 16th note ideas with the slap and open notes. Well, when we play in various pop style music, a lot of times there are 16th notes played on and around the snare. Now, what I mean by on or around the snare, if the snare is playing on 2 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I say I want to play around that, what I mean is not at the same time. So I might play all right, you notice that I played before the snare. I played around it and after. Okay, so that's basically what I mean by that. So if you have a basic rock beat that sounds like this, I might say, all right, after 4, beat 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, play 2 16th note open notes on the conga, on the quinto here. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, if I didn't know exactly what the exact feel of those 2 open notes are, I could count those. All right? So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4 E and Okay? After each number, you have 4 E and So the number, the E, the and the All right? So the number, the first note, 16th note, lines right up with that first quarter note, okay? But it's faster, all right? Or, so this is playing 3, 4. But then the 16th note comes down a little faster. It basically is, they're playing at the same time, but that 16th note lives within that quarter note, okay? If that makes any sense. You have this long quarter note and this quick 16th note that comes down, but that quick 16th note that comes down lives within that quarter note, okay? So the E is right, the second 16th note is right after. 1 E, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and So 2 16th notes on the conga on after beat 4. So play 16th notes on the and of 4, okay? Start what 16th notes? It will be the second and third 16th note. That's basically what I played. So if I have 1 E and so I'm not playing this one. I'm playing this one, the and the on after beat 4. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 E and That's what it looks like slow. Sped back up. 1, 2, 3, 4 E and I'm sorry, that was horrible. 1, 2, 3, 4 E and Okay? This is a little bit better. Still not all that great, but a little bit better. Anyways, that you could tell now how this will help if you're learning. Once you get to the point where you have a good control of this, if you're learning a new song and you want to know the right feel of it, you can listen and count. 3, 4. Oh, okay. I hear those conga notes. It's after number 4 if the song's in 4/4. And then I want to know, well, where exactly? Because if I play them right after the 4, right at that first 16th note, it works, but it's going to sound a little different. 1, 2, 3, 4, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So there's a slight pause there, a rest. It was a 16th note rest. Boom, ta, boom, ta, ding, ding, as opposed to boom, ta, boom, ta, ding, ding. Those are two different sounds. And the more you're listening to music and paying attention, hopefully that starts standing out to you. You may already know this, but you're not exactly sure why. But once you understand what's happening here, and you're able to manipulate it, you can pick up on where it needs to be played and get to that faster, that understanding of that rhythm and playing that rhythm faster. All right? So this is just a quick idea and lesson on counting and how it helps. We'll explore this a little bit more and later as we get into some iconic songs such as Africa by Lenny Castro. And I may do Rosanna as well while I'm on this Toto kick. All right? I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like. Let me know if this helps out. Give me some feedback. God bless you. Have a smile upon you.